AMA Live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Welcome, welcome. Very excited to hear some TA from one of our South African expert traders. So thank you, Shawn, for joining us. I'm going to give you the stage today. I know you've got quite an awesome process that you go through for your TA and for your screening. So excited to hear about that. I've also got a few alts that I'm watching. So if there's time at the end, we'll have a look at that. But looking at Bitcoin now, there's some interesting, pretty meaty TA to go into. I'm looking at my chart and I can see that we just pumped up to my upward sloping resistance line that was support in our last symmetrical triangle. It's now the top of our current symmetrical triangle. I can see that we wicked up above it. Very, very interesting. But Shawn, I'm going to give it to you, buddy. Take it away. Let's see where your head is at. I'm going to be watching the chat, so please, at any time, especially if you're new, hit us with your questions. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. Please don't be shy. Use the hashtag WMO so I don't miss anything and so that we can make sure we get you a reward. So please get involved, and thank you, everybody, for hopping on. Kilo, Sarouge, it's lovely to have everyone here. Let me see who's online. Let me scroll down. Okay, Radiator, awesome. So many new members, so please don't be shy. All right, Shawn, over to you. I'll keep an eye on the chat. You can do some TA for about 10 or 15 minutes, then we'll take some questions and continue.
Okay, cool. So thanks, Jordan. Thanks again for the opportunity. Welcome, guys. So I'm just going to run through some of the price action and a couple of like a kind of a market outlook. I'm going to go through the ES. I'm going to go through USDT dominance, go through the DXY, go through the CME. There's a little gap below that I've spotted. Where are the gaps way below where we're at? Where are the gaps way above where we're at? Because of course we've got the FOMC announcement, I think in about 40 minutes time. So I think we're going to see some volatility. This little section that we traded in over the last couple of hours since 4:30 UTC2 is not a lot going on really, but there's as Jordan was saying, it's hit quite an interesting area of resistance. You can see I've marked the range value area high here, and I like to trade with volume indicators. So if I go to the rest of my indicators, I hope the screen is an okay size, Jordan. Is it okay for everybody? I know normally with my resolution it can be a little bit hectic.
Looks good. Looks good.
Okay, good. So if I switch on my fixed range, actually let me just pull it to where price action is currently gone to. You can see here areas of liquidity, your POC, that's where a lot of the volume has transacted, and right close to the range value area high and also the range value area low. And very interestingly is we've actually wicked above this range value area high, taking out that $17,000 area, but also possible swing failure pattern playing out. So swing failure pattern is where you take out the previous highs. And if we drill down to a 15-minute level, that's the previous high that it's taken out. So it's actually taken out some of the liquidity and the stops. Then you can see that's where I drew my line, and that's possible that this is a reversal area. But
what I'm going to do, Shawn, just out of interest, I'm going to drop an image of my lines so that we can collab on this TA.
Awesome.
So have a look. I'm going to drop it on the group now, just an image, and you'll see my lines. It's quite naked, but yeah, you'll see now.
Okay, I'm checking that out. Hang on a sec.
That is the 4-hour chart on perpetuals.
Okay. Yeah, so I can see there's a trend line there, and it's kind of right exactly where that area of resistance is, where that range value area high is. So it's very interesting. So it's amazing that all roads lead to Rome. So you can use trend lines, you can use volume, you can use a lot of these things to actually figure out where the support and resistance is. Something
so
that's
amazing.
very interesting.
Our resistance is at the exact same point, but completely different routes to get there.
Exactly. And something quite interesting, if you look at this fib, I'll actually redraw it. So if you take it from this kind of very impulsive move, you can see that there was an impulsive move that started on the 10th of November, and it moved all the way down there. Quite interestingly, if I draw it from there to that low on the 14th of November, look where we come out. Resistance right there where we rejected on the 14th of November. But if I pull it all the way down to last week, Tuesday, that low, have a look where our wick is. So I'll just pull it across to the price action from last night, and look where we've rejected. Almost exactly to the dollar to where the price is wicked to last night. So that's another indicator to me that this could be a reversal area. So I'm going to switch off some of these, and let me switch off my value area. Remember that there's a range value area high there. So I'm going to switch off that local TA. Let me go and switch on my levels. And you'll see that a lot of my horizontal levels coincide with where that value area high is. Let me switch that off because sometimes it can get quite confusing. And I like to trade with value areas. So here you can see there's a daily NPOC right at that $16,850 area. So looking at TPO, for those guys that don't know, I use ALTS software. If I drill down to a daily chart, I can actually see where some of the naked POCs are. These naked POCs are areas of liquidity. So let me just zoom out of this chart. And it actually might have already been touched. Yeah, because it's already been touched, it would have actually removed it. Sorry, it might actually be a weekly POC, but I get it off these charts. So those yellow lines and the red lines are value area highs, value area lows, and you can see there was a previous day value area high. We've come through that NPOC, so that's why it's not showing there on the daily anymore. But a lot of resistance happening here at the moment, and something that I was looking at. When you're looking at consolidation, quite often a consolidation that is trading to the upside. You know, market structure, if you're looking at it, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, that's generally bullish. But in terms of consolidation, that's not always the case. Depending on where people are entering over here, if they're entering at the bottom of the candles, taking longs there, and taking profits at the top, that could be considered bullish. But if people are taking long positions at the top of the candles, that could be considered bearish. So I like to look at my order flow software on both the BTC USD and the BTC USDT charts. So at the moment, yeah, let's have a look, see. Volume, not major at the moment. Okay, there's a $17 million candle. 12 million, 7 million, 2 million, 5 million, 1 million at the moment. And these are on the right are buys, on the left are sells, and this is the delta, the difference between the buys and the sells. So you can see a lot of buys happening at the top of the candles there towards 16,895. A lot of buys there, but at the same time, there's a lot of sells that have taken place at the bottom of the candle. So at the moment, there's potential for trap longs, there's potential for trap shorts, but what I've been seeing is there's coming up to this move, there's been a lot of bearish CVD. So looking at CVD's cumulative volume delta, and this is all of the smaller market participants. And often if CVD is making a higher high, but price is making a lower high, that is considered bearish. So have a look here. Come on. Okay, for some reason, Sorry, guys. For some reason, the wrong screen is showing. George, can you confirm you can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Are you able to see my chart, or because I'm seeing the Telegram chat at the moment.
We can see your chart.
Okay, cool. Okay, for some reason, I don't know why. That's. Let me just close some of my windows here, because my screen is not responding like it should. Okay, let's try that again.
That looks good.
Okay, so, okay, there we go. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so this
Should we
is
take
on
some
the
questions quickly?
Yes, go for
because
it.
they're flowing in, and it's so awesome to see how engaged everybody is. And welcome! Wow, nice turnout. Please do invite your friends. If you're new, please ask us a question with the hashtag WMO. Let's get you a bonus for being here. And wow, welcome all these new faces. Absolutely awesome to see. Okay, so Cosmo Learner, one of our regulars, how to be consistent in regards to profitable trades. What happens with the emotional trading is if very often all trades go right, make a lot of profit, we become careless and trade randomly anytime and lose, and we come to a amount where we started.
100%.
How to avoid this and gain sincerity in trading. So I think by sincerity, Cosmo is referring to some kind of emotional balance. So yeah, that's a lot of mindset, and actually Shawn is very good at that kind of stuff. So I'll let you answer that, Shawn.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, and it's something that every trader struggles with. Something that I was actually chatting to somebody about today, that the fact is I've realized for me, when I'm extremely tired and when I'm feeling stressed, I actually shouldn't be trading, because that's when I get emotional and I don't follow my system. Very, very important to have a system. Have your rules written down. Every now and again, I go and look at my trading rules, and I'll open them for you so you can see them. And I always refer back to them, and I'm always tweaking this. And this is my rules. This is what I'm doing right here. You can see here, I had a bad trading streak because I was very busy. And here's what I've been doing. And this is what has contributed to my success. I only trade the following: retests, swing failure patterns, CVD, fibs. I look at volume, TP and stop loss. Enter trades close to level of confidence, shorts at resistance, longs at support, close to invalidation. That way, if stop loss is hit, the loss is very small. Take profits consistently. Stop loss and profits.
So we've actually got another question. Beautiful question, Cosmo. But right here, let me just come down quickly to, okay, we'll move on to indicators, but there was one here. Let me see. Hang on. I saw it. It was basically saying I'll find it now, but what is the value of these kind of value zones? Let me find it. You continue. Let me find the question.
So it sounds like that is referring to value area highs, value area lows. So let me actually zoom out and go to where we dropped down from the $28,000 area in June. Let me just turn off these. Let me turn off these rays, that ray. Okay. So, all right. So yeah, 13th of June is where we dropped down from 28K. Okay. And we know that we traded in a range for a very, very long time. So if I go and draw, let's say, for instance, this range up until this point, take it all the way to, actually I can draw to there because that was a fake out there.
Okay, so the question is from Lalit, and it's what's the value of value areas? And then he's actually given a percentage. He says 70% or 80%. So I think he's talking about what kind of bias you give to your value areas.
Very much. I don't trade with them alone. but I look at value areas and always find confluence with whichever indicator that you're using. So I like to trade with value areas, horizontal levels. If I see that a value area and a horizontal level is in confluence, and I see my swing failure pattern or CVD divergence taking place there and a change of market structure, all those things together, and they mesh, then I know that it's a high probability trade. But very important to have your invalidation and not trade your bias, because you can think, oh, price is going to go this way, and you hold on to your bias and price goes against you and you just get further away from price. So have a look at this. So I'm going to answer your question. So if I go and draw a fixed range, just long position, short position, fixed range volume profile, you always draw it from where it broke into the range. So from this candle all the way to there, that's where we broke out of the range. I want you to see how these value areas, the POC, lines up with the upper trend line, lower trend line of that parallel channel. Okay, so that value area low, okay, very, very much almost confluent with that parallel channel, that value area high. Okay, so obviously it's a little bit skewed because of this over here. So let me draw it a little bit further back. You can see. Okay, so those value areas are very close to where the wicks are. And yeah, those are very much the areas of liquidity. Actually, let me just see there, October. I might have to draw it a little bit closer to there. Yeah, there we go. So value areas will always work in conjunction with other indicators. So for instance, this range over here that we're currently in, if I draw a fixed range from there, we kind of dropped into the range to there. You can see where your value areas are. Very much respected. Let me go back to the 1 hour time frame. And now you can see your value area low, which is that bottom blue line, would have been generally a good place for a short. There it would have been. Okay, there it faked out. There would have been a good place for a long, not a good place for a short. Your value area high would have been a good place for a short. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there was weakness there. And a good place for take profit would be your POC. Normally not good to enter
as an answer to the question, just to simplify it here, it's all about the value area highs and lows, and it's all about the point of control. In any trading range, you identify your POC very easily by the major support flipped into resistance. Basically, your most major touch point horizontal line will always be your POC in whatever time frame. And then you look for your high and your low to get your trading range. Your point of control, you always have to understand, will be where you get your momentum from, where you understand your bias from. That will either be support or resistance at any one time. And I mean, beautiful answer there. I think if you had to put percentage on bias, I think you would say it is around 70 to 80% of what you're kind of thinking would be around value areas. Very interesting. Nice question.
100%.
Thank you.
100%. Just to further that idea, in this current range that we're in, when we broke into it early hours of the morning, if you were trading this range, that would have been the value area high, great place to short, great place to take profit at your value area low. So, and you can actually use, oh, that's interesting. We pushing below that value area low. What's interesting here is this can help you with breakouts to the upside. So let's say I've taken a short from this point, which I am short in both the BTC USD and USDT pairs from about this region, 16,900. And we break down and retest this value area low as resistance. So in other words, come down below it, retest as resistance, then that would be a good place. That would be an indication for you that the price is going to go lower and possibly make a run down, because we that's an area for a lot of single prints, and there's not a lot of liquidity in that area. So I've been watching this area the whole day, because if we lose that area, I think we're going to have a quick run down. Conversely, if we come up above this value area high and retest it as support, we could actually go higher. So this is very, very important to watch. And coming back to switching on my levels, looking at my levels.
Just an important note there, Lalit. Trade the range until it breaks. Basically, your major 100%. Support and major resistance is going to flip at some point, either, into major resistance or major support. And they're usually a range is a gold mine. We find consolidation before we find a breakout. So look at that. Look what's happening right now. Very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically that's a buy until that line turns into a retest at the bottom as resistance. Then it's a sell.
100%. So the best place to get into a trade is at your value area low for a long, because if it bounces here and takes out your value area high, then you hold that from a scalp trade into a swing trade. Let me just look at what the volume is doing here.
Of course, we have to be just also aware of the 4 hour, for the newbies, like look at the 1 hour, look at the 4 hour, be aware of the higher time frames.
100%. Okay, volume not major at the moment, but the delta is the negative delta is quite big at the moment. We could, this is interesting. We could actually be having, okay, depending on where this candle closes, hello. Okay, never mind. There we go. That just shows what I was telling you right now.
So there we go. If we see a nice 15-minute retest there, yeah, there could be a 15-minute short, but I mean, let's look for some confluence there. Like, okay, let me quickly share my screen because this is to the dollar. Okay, cool. 1 second.
Do it.
There we go. Share screen.
Shall I disable my screen for now? So there's.
It's cool. I'll just take over quickly and then I'll give it back to you. But basically, this is my Bybit chart. I usually do trade high leverage on the 15-minute, but I track on the 4 hour mostly my support and resistance. And look at this. I haven't changed this line, just extended it a bit. And basically, this happens time and time again, this structure. What we'll see is, let me go back a bit. So a big dump, huge volatility, basically where a big demand zone died. We've been through this and we saw the volatility there. Now we're below that previous demand zone. We've got another demand zone below us actually now. Let me just try to keep this clean. I know I go a bit messy sometimes. But basically, throughout the bear market, big dump, consolidation, another big dump. And if we break down the consolidation, and that's going to happen until we have a proper bottom, it's going to be big dumps, a little bit of consolidation, possibly nice pump, some hopium. I'll open up my actual TradingView chart quickly. Let's go to BTC. So this channel, if we look here, these are the real lines I'm looking at. So this is our major demand zone now on the weekly. This is our daily demand zone holding us up. This is pretty much our major bear market, one of our major downward sloping bear market trend lines that currently gave us this big wick. And now it's all about this channel basically that we're in. If we can break up above it, if we can move up. And sure, look at these value areas. For me, it's all about this area up at the top, whether we can make it here. And as you can see, it lines up with this. So we could maybe find some hopium up to 17,000, 18,000, and then carry on in this channel. As you can see, this big channel that I've got going. But basically, I just wanted to show you on the 4 hour how this line is playing out. And this is just like very easy trading from here. I didn't take the trade, but we can see that it's a nice range. All right, so Shawn, back over to you.
Yeah, very interesting place that we could be at. A lot of people will be shorting this right here, but I want to see where this candle closes, because what could be happening here is that we could be having some really bullish divergence playing out if this candle closes above this point here. So in other words, we can see that the market participants, huge. People are trying to short this like crazy. But we've got a wick going up there. So if this
nice to see some volume there on that 15-minute candle.
That's very nice. So if this candle closes close to that trend line or makes a higher low, then this could actually be bullish. So be careful shorting here. Looking at the volume, you're talking about volume, George. I like to look at the BTC USD pair. Okay. Volume, some decent volume with 2 minutes to go till the candle close. 6,000, almost 7,000 Bitcoin traded there. If I look at the USD pair, let's have a look. Okay, 29 million. Okay, that's larger than this candle here. So always compare with a previous candle. So it's trying to take out this previous low here. 17 million versus 30 million. We could be seeing a breakdown here. And the delta, the difference between the buys and the sells is outstripping the buys like completely at the moment. 14 million versus 7 million. So I would say be careful taking a long here. I want to see what's happening with the next candle, but open interest is dropping here. So what that is meaning is that with this move down, longs are closing out. I'd like to see an increase of open interest here with price going down, negative volume increasing going forward to see if this move is sustainable. Now, what's very interesting to the downside, if you go and look at the CME chart, I spotted a very, very small little gap over there. And as we know, with CME gaps, those always get filled. So if we get a breakdown here and closing down below this 16,000, okay, let's go back to the BTC USD chart because that looks different from the CME. If we start closing below this level here, all right, then you can see we're not closing below that right now. So it could still go either way. Where's my SR flip right there? So if we get a support resistance flip over here and we retest this as resistance, I think we're going to have a quick run down there. But also interestingly, could also be a swing failure pattern playing out here. So I think patience is very, very key at the moment, trading this. So as I said, if this candle starts closing, especially the 30-minute candle, closes, it's actually already closed. So sure, very, very interesting at the moment. If you're not in a trade, be careful here. Just exercise some patience. What I normally do is I go and wait for that volatility to be over. And remember the next 15 minutes, FOMC announcement coming, volatility incoming. So we could actually see a very quick move down.
A lot of people were maybe setting up for a short here. On the 4-hour, it looks like a short. On the 15-minute, that looks like a possible swing failure happening on higher time frames. And basically, if you're not in the short now, you missed it until a long, or you missed it until a proper short. And basically, you can see the wicks on the top of that 15-minute range. And if you entered there, congratulations. And let me know in the chat who entered there because you're killing it. You're already in profit. You can already move your stop into profit and all of that. If you're not on the train, don't jump on the tracks. You'll get 100%. Run over. All right, I'm going to go through the chat now. So drop which else you'd like to look at. Drop your questions. Thank you, everybody.
So something I want to just point out on the BTC chart. Let me just switch off these levels. So, and I'll actually come out of that fixed range. So here's our 13th of June range. And so if I draw my parallel channels, we traded in a massive parallel channel. Oh, sorry, let me just change that. We traded in a massive parallel channel, as I was saying earlier on that 13th of June range. And let me just see which one that is. Okay, so let me delete that channel. That's the one I drew earlier. So quite often you can duplicate the channel that you were in if it's broken to the downside. Now you can see the 8th of November, We broke it, retested perfectly on the daily, broke to the downside. So often what you can do is if you're trading on a PC or Mac PC, I suppose, you click on your indicator, hold down the control key, and you can drag it down and copy it down. So that will often give you targets to the downside if we're going to continue this move to the downside. And what I find interesting is in copying that channel is we've been hovering at that center line of the channel, always an important place. So if we come and break this channel to the downside, possible target could be in that $14,000 area for a bounce. And I've seen a lot of guys have been talking about the $14,000 area, and there is some horizontal levels at that level as well. So conversely, if we come and retest this center line as support, then obviously we could see higher, and we would look at that $18,000 area to reclaim this channel. But obviously, make sure that you trade this with confluence. Look at your levels if you're using RSI, MACD, stochastic, those kind of things. Always look for confluence. Very, very important. The other thing that I want to show you on my CME chart, if I zoom out to the daily, I've gone and charted where the CME gaps are, which have been gaps and which are waiting to be filled. And very interestingly, all of the gaps on the way up from even from there July 2020, all of those gaps have not this gap. That gap's been filled. So in other words, we had a gap there, it's been filled by price there. Gap there, filled there. Gap there, filled there. So a couple of gaps that are waiting to be filled, very interestingly, is right here at that $28,000 area. So that has to be filled at some stage. All these gaps will be filled. Another gap is at that $35,000 area. But another gap that is waiting to be filled is right here at that $9,000 area. So that is why a lot of people are calling for that $9,000 area to be the bottom. Can we say for sure that 9,000 is going to be the bottom? No, we can't. Can we say for sure that 14,900 is the bottom? Okay, this is on the CME. If you look at our Bybit chart, the bottom so far has been 15,400. Can we say for sure that this is the bottom? I will not make such a prediction. What Jordan said earlier is trade the ranges until they break. Price will be ranging most of the time. Yes, if you catch the breakout, wonderful. But look at this on the daily. Yeah, we can see we've had price ranging there for a lot of days. We broke down and we're price ranging there. There's your money to be made. So if you took a short there and you turned it into a swing trade, took profit there, great. Then we broke down there again and we ranged for a very long time there. So for me, I like to trade the ranges, take a scalp trade. If that scalp trade turns into a swing trade, wonderful. But trading the ranges is going to be far more profitable than trading breakouts. And for me, trading breakouts is a lot more difficult. So let's see what's happening with the price action at the moment. Okay. Interestingly enough, we are looking like we are getting a little bounce here, but still a few minutes to the FOMC announcement. Something also important to look out for is if we look at our USDT dominance. Okay, if USDT dominance goes down, then generally crypto is going to go up. It's got an inverse relationship. At the moment, we've got USDT dominance going up, so that's why we're seeing a little dump. Also, you've got to look at the traditional markets like the ES. Okay, look at that. Bitcoin made a little dump. ES is making a little dump, and you can see I've drawn some Fibonacci levels here. if the ES loses these levels, I'm going to expect Bitcoin to follow as well. So very, very important to keep an eye on that. Also your DXY, which is the dollar index. Sorry, I'm not able to type properly at the moment. Not on Bybit. I want to look at all sources. Okay, so generally if the DXY is pumping, which is the dollar index, all of the markets are going to be dumping, like the ES for instance, the GBP USD. I've got a buddy that's been trading this. He's been trading it on an algorithm, so I've been doing TA there. The same TA that works on crypto will work on the other charts. You can see there, Fibonacci's respected. So if that DXY is going to pump, then the dollar or the GBP USD will actually decline. So yeah. Okay, any questions from the chat, George? Oh, okay, I'm not seeing Jordan there, so maybe he's had an internet problem. Let's see if we can.
No, you should see me now.
Okay, cool.
You should see me now.
Gotcha.
All right. So, sure. So many questions. It's hard to even choose. Sure. Let's see here. That's been covered. Very nice, Dinesh. Thank you very much. Donadras. Can we say that BTC can still go bearish in regards to the volume and consolidation move, or is it now at the bottom? So we covered so many questions. Let's see who's new. Aliyah. As the crypto market analysts are still talking about the bear market and also that crypto is not yet at its low, should we be expecting further decrease in the price of the crypto token in some days to come? You can speak into that. Is there any positivity you can give to a Bitcoin holder at this time from Kala?
Yeah, so let me answer the first question. If you look at world politics at the moment, and Trader Giants, I know he always speaks about this, about the war in Russia, about what's happening in the US, that a lot of guys are still expecting lower on the traditional markets. I mean, you've got to define what is a bear market. And a bear market is
TA would actually support that now too. So you have to be realistic on the fundamentals and realistic on the technical analysis. And it's not saying this will happen, but you have to at least take into account, what logic is saying. You can't be too hopeful. And if you position yourself well for that, then if it does turn around now, you'll still do well. But if it does go down to 10K and hover there for a while, that's where you'll be able to actually build your base, or lower 9K. But you continue, Shawn. Yeah,
so a bear market is defined as retracement of more than 20% of the highs. So looking at the ES or the mini S&P, you can see it's 26% down from the highs. So what a lot of guys are looking at is they're looking at this little section here, and yes, the ES has pumped, but always look left. Look left on where we are at relative to where prices come from. This is very, very bearish. If you look at, a lot of stocks, they've been bearish. So unless we reclaim certain areas coming back to market structure, this is not bullish. And the same for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down, I think it's a lot more than 20% from the all-time highs. So guys are calling for the bull market to be back, but yes, we've had a little pump from 15,400. And if I take a little measurement, where's my measurement tool? Price range.
And as you saw on my charts, we haven't even gotten to the top of our downward sloping bear market channel. I mean, we're far from ending our bear market narrative, and until it ends, it's going to keep going. So
I mean, let's zoom out on the chart. So zooming out on the chart,
I mean, that's even where we can be in the moving averages. You know, look at the daily and the 4-hour moving averages. They're all very overextended. There'd be a lot of work to do. And just while you're talking about this answer, this is a beautiful question now, especially with what's about to happen from Japs. Thank you, Japs. How do you trade with news such as FOMC, CPI, FUD like FTX issues, etc., wherein there's so much volatility? Or are you just watching them settle down before opening a trade? So how do you handle a highly volatile event where you're expecting volatility and you don't know what's going to happen? I've got my own answer, but I'm going to let Shawn answer.
Yeah, so if I can see it in the chart beforehand, often you can see where the sentiment is going, then I'll take the trade. If it's a high probability trade, in other words, it's hit maybe 2, 3, 4 areas of confluence, then I'll enter the trade, but put my stop loss very tight. So if I wasn't in a trade right now and there's volatility, then I would enter a trade very close by to where my invalidation point is. So if I was going to trade this and take a short or a long here, let's see over here. So in this little section here, if I've taken a long in this area here, and I thought this was a swing failure pattern, then I would put my stop just below that wick. Looking at, let me just see here. You see, the thing is, why this might not be a swing failure pattern is that it's not taking out a low here, but it has taken out a low here. So it can move anyway. If you look at the other FOMC announcements, there's been huge volatility. Sometimes, okay, let me try and see if I can find it here. Sometimes there's been a huge wick up and a huge wick down. So unless you are extremely
you go
fast,
back a
you
little
won't catch
bit
the moves.
to that last dump and you look at the 4-hour candle that happened within that last big dump that we had, there was just a major drop and a major rise. And it's a very good question to ask how to trade that.
Right here. Right here.
And I would
think
say,
this is where it happened.
I would say let the volatility dictate your TA. Basically, listen to your TA, and if you're waiting for a trade, if the volatility works for your TA, then take it. But of course, increase your risk management. So, you know, smaller position sizes, tighter stop losses, so that if you get stopped out, you can still rather go catch the top of the wick. You know, just rather play with small amounts, because yes, there's opportunity to make big when there's volatility, but of course the opportunity to lose big also increases. And look at that. So just scroll back slightly from there on that 4-hour chart. Look at that 4-hour candle with that wick.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who was new to derivatives trading, just bring the chart a bit up. There's a wick on the top of that candle too. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Crazy.
So basically, anyone who was trading there got wrecked on leverage, got wrecked, or got stopped out. So basically, you got to understand that, yes, when things go crazy like that, it can be a bit like gambling. Bring all of your position sizing down. Bring your leverage right down. Like, be realistic. The more experienced traders, I mean, nail it. Shawn and I both nailed that, but it's only because we're on cross and because we understand where to put everything, you know, where to have a stop, where the ranges are. And my normal advice is always take it slow with leverage, etc. And for this, unless you've been trading, unless you're in profit on leverage anyway, just sit on your hands during any kind of volatility and just learn from it. Because it will always still bounce off the same lines. It will just be much more volatile. And you learn how to actually rein that in, that volatility. And if you can apply then 100x, like we did to that trade, you can actually go and make 420% like I did, and so on. So beautiful question, Japs. Thank you very much. You deserve a bonus for that one. All right, so I think it's time for altcoins. Please let us know. Just drop one altcoin right now in the chat. Let us know. Let's see where the consensus is. What should we look at? What should we analyze? I know I missed quite a few questions. I will be going back through the chat. So thank you for all of your questions. Let's see what the alts are. BNB Doge, Solana, dot Solana, Chili's, nice. All right, so let's vote between Doge, dot, BNB, Solana. I think definitely look at Solana. Let's definitely look at Doge, and we'll see where we go from there. Let's look at Chili's. Cool. Solana, Doge, and Chili's.
I've got TA for Chili's. I actually did some TA on Doge last night because I saw there was a volume breakout at this point. So exactly what you were saying, Jordan, is if you are not sure, take a smaller position size. So what I did was I think I traded it on 25x or 50x or something like that, so that I traded it on isolated, so that if it came down, I think my margin was something stupid like $2. But if it broke out and hit profit, it would have made a nice profit. So Doge trading between this daily level of 9 cents 31 and that weekly at 11 cents 12. So you can actually see that yesterday we had last night, early hours of the morning, we had a rejection just below that point. So this blue line here is VWAP, and let me just go to the daily and just make sure that I haven't missed any levels there. Actually, yeah, I can move this daily level to that 955 area. Okay, and we've got a weekly level here. You can see they've marked it to those two candles, and we've even got a weekly there, so I can go and duplicate that right there. So again, where do you take the long? Where do you take the short? So coming back to your areas of confluence, weekly area there, daily level there, and yeah, we don't really have a very...
And that's quite a classic upward sloping channel that I've been buying the bottom of and selling the top of on spot. And it's crazy, on an asset like Doge, you can trade an upward sloping channel. So I don't know if you want to... you don't use too many diagonal trend lines, hey, Shawn?
I do.
It's not really your style. Okay.
No, I do. I love upsloping parallel channels. So here's the channel that you're talking about. So, yeah, making higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher low. Okay, that's not a higher high, but there's almost a higher high. So is this a point
but it's basically
reversal?
Pump,
could be
dump, pump, dump, pump, dump. And that's Doge. And that's going to happen until the dump takes out all of the pump, basically.
100%. And Doge is also going to be bullish because of Elon Musk and Twitter and him pumping it. So
that could also be the start of an exponential curve. It just totally depends on the fundamental, what happens in the fundamentals.
Absolutely. So let me see. Okay, that was some of the value areas. Yeah, generally you can't actually. What you can do in this kind of channel is you can actually pull a fib channel. So let me just go.
Oh, do they call it the fib pitchfork or something? It's very cool.
No, it's actually a channel, so you can see where the support and resistance areas are within that channel.
That is really cool. Yeah, Fibonacci is just applicable to so many things. It doesn't have to be horizontal. It can even be on your time frame. Fibonacci is just fractalized in so many ways. Beautiful.
Exactly. So that red line there, the 236, you can see they acted as resistance, and that 785. So the 785 would have been a good place to take longs. Okay. Now we've broken the 785 there, very, very interestingly. And that 236 would have been generally, okay, except for there, a good place to take a short. Yeah, Doge can be very, very volatile. So I think your plan of buying it on spot, Jordan, is a very, very good plan.
It's crazy. So I just everyone saw on the stream, I bought at the bottom because I've been doing that, and I just bought literally a little bit, and it went up 15% the next day, and I sold it, and then the next day I bought more again lower. Spot trading is really where it's at for the newbies. Get your head around trading these kinds of volatile coins on spot before you actually head into any kind of leverage, or you will just get yourself a bit hurt. Okay, so let's move on. If you want to look at Solana or Chiliz.
Okay, let me look at Chiliz. I don't have recent TA on Solana.
Now you can put yourself on the spot. We're okay with that. Otherwise, I'll do the Solana. Don't worry.
Okay, lekker. So let me go.
Nah, you're in the frying pan.
So that was the last place that I traded Chiliz, around about that 17 cents area. So we had a huge pump because of the FIFA World Cup. You can see all of my levels right up to that 27 cents area, and a massive dump. So you can see we consolidated for a while between 18 cents and 17 cents, and there we lost the range. So let us go and draw.
Limit orders must have finally gone off. Amazing. So I can sell now because I had limit orders for the bottom of that wick, so I can sell now.
Wow. Very nice. So let's look on the daily and monthly. If we've got there's some levels below there that I've got. Okay, nothing at the current level for the monthly. The weekly, let's see if we've got some support there. Okay, so there's a weekly support. Let's change that daily to a weekly. Okay, it's not exact. Weekly level. Okay, there is a weekly level at 12, that level there. And let's go down to the daily and see if we've got any support there. Okay, very interesting. We've got a daily support level right where it wicked to. So that would have been possibly a very good buy.
So for the newbies, that's very easy TA. So when you see two very big candle bodies at the same level, that's a very big horizontal level. And as you can see, that was now the take profit for the short.
Yeah, that could have actually been a swing failure pattern. Let's have a look on the 4 hours, smaller time frame. Yeah, definitely took out that previous wick there. And let me just turn on my volume there. Okay, some negative volume going on there on Chiliz. So also on the 4 hour. Let's see what the 15-minute is doing. Very interesting. That could have been a very nice swing failure pattern trade there, and seeing the change of market structure. Yeah, there's a definite change of market structure that's happened there. So what you could do is what I like to do if I've missed the original move on the swing failure pattern, is to draw a fib golden pocket, and yeah, I don't know if we're going to get a retrace to that point there, but definitely on Bitcoin the other day when it was down at 16,100 round about there, I missed the swing failure pattern, and I drew a fib, waited for a retrace to that fib, and then got in on that. And obviously some bullish structure. So yeah, definitely a very interesting place here for Chiliz. Let me just see if I can see some information on Chiliz on the order flow. There you are. Sure, that previous half an hour candle, $41 million US, and look at that. Look at
so
that negative delta.
Those of you who don't know the fundamentals behind Chiliz, the coin, they are the big players behind the entertainment industry, fan tokens, any kind of competitive sporting, from gaming to literally soccer. And as we know, it's the Soccer World Cup. And money is flowing into and out of this coin.
So very interesting on this wiki. So for those of you that don't know, I use ATAS, ATAS for order flow. That gives you the ability to see within the candle where the buys and sells are. So this is the delta, so the difference between the buys and sells. And look what's happened at the bottom of the candle. People were seeing price going down. They were selling into that. And now, with the price move up, all of these are negative delta, negative, negative, negative. And everybody below this wick now, those shorts are trapped. So if you took a long at this point, I think you are sitting pretty. So let's just change this to awesome. An imbalance chart so you can see the buys versus the sells.
I think that's great. Let's do the last 2 minutes on Solana, cool. Just so we can give that value. So let me quickly share my screen. This one's Solana. Okay, so this is the Solana daily chart. And I've got my fixed volume profile here. It's a very nice tool to use to find your POC. And, you know, for the experienced traders, it's fairly obvious where the POC is. And we can see right now that it's called the point of control for a reason, because it's literally the area of control around this whole range. So just like Shawn was saying, value area high, value area low, bottom of the range, top of the range. Here we are kind of, this coin is making up its mind, really. I mean, between the fundamentals, what's happening, people are making up their mind. This is consolidation right in the middle of a range. And what we can see with the RSI is that it's kind of bullish, actually. So if anything on the RSI, either down a little bit, but basically we're looking to enter the momentum box, come up, test the top of this range. If anything, test our major resistance levels at $22 and come back to test the bottom of this range. So just like we were saying, play it safe. And we can see on the daily here where the RSI is. It's not an entry zone for a trade. This is where, let me make this bigger. These are the kinds of entries we're looking for, shark fin kinds of patterns in the right places. We don't enter trades in the wrong places. So if anything, watch this RSI up to the top, catch your short, or watch it into the bottom, catch your long, but don't jump the gun. Let's quickly go into a smaller time frame. Let me just quickly clean this up. So the fixed range volume profile will just attach itself to whichever time frame you scroll through. So if we just bounce through the time frames, we can see here, POC, very similar level. We just got rejected by the POC. We now know it's a waiting game. And the RSI here is telling us the same thing. I'm sorry if it's boring, but I'm not going to tell you to take trades. I'll never tell you to take trades, but I'm not even going to say NFA here because this is like a no-go zone. Let's look at the 15. I am a scalper, so sometimes, you know, these cool opportunities will present themselves to you on the lower time frames, even if they're not on the higher time frames. So let's just have a look. RSI on the 15 minutes is at the bottom. And what's interesting here, it depends on your style. But of course, what we can note here is RSI is low on 15-minute and it's also low on daily. So there could be a scalp trade there for the advanced. And you know what? There's also a nice triangle here. So let's just go back out to the 1 hour. And let me quickly draw this triangle in for everyone. And we'll end our stream right there. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let me quickly draw this in. What you can do is you can put your magnet on light so that it helps you out. And sometimes I like to use extended lines. And you want to basically look for your biggest wick. Magnetize yourself to that biggest wick. And the same thing on the bottom. Just look for your, basically your biggest points that you want to connect to each other. And look at that. So thank you for whoever suggested this coin. Something's about to go down. And you know what? It could just be low volatility, boring stuff like that, but it could be a breakout to the upside from point of control, or it could be a boost to the downside. So pretty boring tea on Solana, to be honest, but thank you for the suggestion. I think a lot of us are actively trading this coin. I am myself. So very nice suggestion. And I must say thank you, everybody, for being here. It's been an amazing turnout. It's been an awesome stream. Thank you to Shawn for your expertise. As always, we absolutely love having you. Everybody go follow Shawn on YouTube. He's an official Bybit affiliate. Show him the fire, show him the love. And everybody, please be sure to get in on the Crypto Cup kickoff campaign. Roll with it. Get involved in what's happening globally. Please DM me if you need help with anything. We've got some awesome campaigns coming very soon. Nice referral campaigns, etc. All right. So, Shawn, any last words?
Yeah, quite interesting on the BTC chart. I was just looking at, sometimes I do look at some of the traditional indicators to see some divergence. Very interestingly, on the 5-minute time frame, we've got some bullish divergence that seems to be playing out. Vuman 2B, and on the RSI, you can see indicator making a higher low and price making a lower low. So that could be an indicator that price is going to move up. But for me, this is not an area that I would like to long. Yeah, so guys, safe trading.
It's a bit of a cowboy one. Yeah, but it's nice to learn from. Those divergences are often a little bit of a secret to an entry. So well spotted. Absolutely. There. And yeah, that market cipher is not easy to understand with that VWAP. So it takes time to wrap your head around that VWAP market cipher.
Sometimes I use it just to confirm my trade entries. You know, the more confidence you have, the better. But yeah, guys, safe trading. So looks like we haven't had as much volatility as what I thought we would. But be careful trading. Always use stops. Make sure you have good risk management. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks for the opportunity again, man. It's been good to be with you guys.
Oh, absolutely awesome to have you, Shawn. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Remember, always play from a position of power and strength. Always use a stop loss and don't get wrecked. Thanks again, everybody. I will see you in the communities. I will read your questions. Thank you so much for the engagement and good night.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy.